What's going on, everybody? This question comes from Facebook. Says, Vinny, I'm thinking about starting a Facebook group. I've been told they increase the exposure to potential clients in terms of my content. Then someone actually told me the opposite. They said having a Facebook group suppresses your views. How should I proceed? I'm not sure what to do. Okay, so yeah, I think this is a very tactical question. I'm gonna take a step back for a moment, and then we'll circle back to this. We can get a little bit more specific. Reality is, like, no matter how you build a business, it's going to be through an email campaign. Is it going to be through social media content? Is it going to be through paid ads on social media? Are you going to have a website with Google ads? I think regardless of the method you approach building a business with, ultimately, it's rare that there's an issue with lead generation. It's more like, I haven't proven to enough people that I care about them. That's usually more where the problem is. And there's a number of ways to do this. So to the extent you're gonna create a Facebook group so that you can prove you care to people and you can show up consistently, build a wonderful relationship with them, that's gonna be great for you. If you're building a Facebook group just because, like, you're trying to increase views, yeah, that could be great, but the intentionality here, I think, is really important. So let's talk about what that might look like. So you build a Facebook group, and here's a great opportunity. So with, like, smoking cessation in my group, what I'll teach folks is basically I want to give them an opportunity to slowly realize that quitting smoking isn't so much a chemical problem as it is something that's inside the mind. And now that's a bit out there for people. You know, a lot of times they'll agree kind of tacitly, but they hadn't really thought through it. So when I point this out, you know, one of the ways I might do it is, like, have you ever wondered why chemical solutions are so ineffective if this is just a chemical problem? You know, and then it gives them an opportunity to think about it differently. That's just something off the top of my head, but you get the idea. What I want to do is help that person see the problem differently. And then as a result of that, and you showing them you care, being consistent, showing up, all those things, now you're kind of positioned as like a caring expert. And when you're seen as a caring expert, they feel comfortable trusting you because you've proven that you care. So now it becomes very easy for them to make a decision to work with you one-on-one. Whereas, but you don't need a Facebook group for that, right? There's a bunch of different ways to do that. You can just do it through content, etc. So that's kind of how I like to think about it. Ultimately, it's more about showing people that you care about them, you know, maybe creating content in that direction. And kind of whatever you do is got to be much more effective than like a tactic, because those are always a bit short-sighted. That's what I would recommend. Really take your time, be a bit intentional about the journey you want that prospective client to experience. And here's the other thing that I think is undervalued. When you actually engage with people and you kind of like flatten the hierarchy a little bit, you know, and you quit trying to be the hypnotist, you know, or whatever it is. One of the really cool things that can do for you is they might open up and share things that are nuanced. And more often than not, those nuances, there's a commonality amongst, like, attitudes like, will you smoking, right, is my niche. They tend to have certain attitudes towards things that's important to know that, because now your content speaks to them in a different way, right? So as you start to unpack and build these relationships with people, it's very powerful. You don't want to have a group though and just like treat it as an ATM. That stuff is so short-sighted. Like, you'd rather have a small group of people that you're all looking towards the same vision than just like a bunch of folks in there that are throwing stuff at a wall. We want to have a little bit of structure in that way. And so I think, hopefully that helps. That's how I think about it. Yeah, and I'd love to see what you put in the comments. Let me know if you have any other questions. Take care.